Welcome to this UCOMM Digitally Digging Digital Skills session. Today we're going to focus on cyber safety or online safety or digital safety. All those words mean the same thing. And if you have not met me yet, whether physically or digitally, my name's Sylvia Kalunji. Some know me as Julie Sil Kalunji, Julie being my middle name, but long story, Facebook and all that. And so I'm here today to share with you my personal experience journey with digital skills, especially with cyber safety. I am a digital branding specialist. I am based here in Liverpool. I am the founder of Women and Digital Inclusion, a charity based here in Liverpool. And we serve the whole of Merseyside when it comes to Black and Brown women. And we serve their digital needs, their physical needs, their subsistence needs, their womanly needs. We handle quite a bit of quite a wide scope of we have a wide scope of offerings for women, but our core offer is digital skills, ending digital poverty and engendering social equity. So today we are going to talk about cyber safety. We're going to learn the importance of protecting our personal information online, and we're going to learn how to safely navigate the internet and avoid harmful content. And obviously, sometimes we can't completely avoid it, either due to past actions or, someone who's really, there are some really nasty people online, and they've created something that's so hard for you to clean up. And sometimes that's when your gadget may crash completely and it can't be recovered. Sometimes things like that happen, but we're going to help you to not get to that place. Fingers crossed. So first, let me ask you this. Who's responsible for your digital security and safety? Who do you believe is responsible for your digital security and safety? Let me simplify it. Who's responsible for keeping, for instance, your phone safe when you're browsing online? The answer is supposed to be you, yourself. You're responsible for your gadgets. They are yours. You bought them, or you leased them. And if it's a work gadget, you're still responsible for that gadget to an extent, although you might not be responsible for its replacement or its fixing, but you could incur some serious telling off if something happens while you're browsing the internet in working hours without permission, or going onto the wrong websites that you shouldn't be going on while at work. And that can be a major challenge. It's a major challenge for a lot of organizations, and what they've done is they've kind of almost restricted access to certain websites except work-related ones, but not completely all of them. So digital safety is like personal safety. As a digital enthusiast, I like to take it like that. That is like personal safety, only this is digital. So most of us walk the digital streets all day. Most of us are even walking the digital streets when we are not actively on our gadgets because we forgot to switch off certain apps, or we didn't log out of certain apps, or we left certain websites open on our gadgets. We did not clear cache when we finished browsing certain websites on our gadgets. So we are physically still walking on those streets, but we are not aware that we are walking on those streets. And the internet is a wonderful place. It really is, for connecting, socializing, transacting, sharing, learning, entertaining, gaming, dating. But like all good things, it can pose dangers if precautions are not taken, especially for your young ones as a parent or as a responsible adult. So allowing free and protected access for your minors or young people may put your child and your digital gadgets and your personal data at risk. Last year, we held a session with an organization called Africa, I'm biting the tongue. And one of the questions I asked was, do you realize that you have put a loaded gun with the safety net off in your hand, in your children's hands, when you buy them a smartphone and you don't put on parental control? You literally bought them a gun, given it to them, and taken the safety off, and expect them to not shoot nobody. The sad thing is they will. Usually it will be themselves. They'll attract all kinds of nasty people, and these nasty people are super digitally smart, and they know where to be. So as parents, we should be taking better care of our children when we decide to gift them a lovely phone. Sometimes we're not even buying them the phone. Sometimes we are handing our toddlers our phone because that's gonna keep them silent. We then go to YouTube and put on Peppa Pig, and we give the phone to the toddler. Now that's that complete, you've removed complete responsibility from yourselves as to what your toddler is going to see, because as you know, YouTube, unless you have created a YouTube children's account on your phone, YouTube will show all kinds of adverts to that child that are actually tailored to you, the adults, because it's your phone. And some of those adverts might not be quite appropriate for your child. And so whenever I am somewhere and I see a parent had their phone, a kid, and they go on YouTube, I go, is that YouTube for children? And sometimes I've been looked at like, none of your business. Like, it's Nanya. Like, get away from me. But hey, I like poking my nose where it's not wanted. Because I know exactly how dangerous the digital streets can be. Just like our normal streets can be dangerous if we're not paying attention, walking around on our phones and not with earphones on and not paying attention to what's going on around us. So today, we're going to look at the importance of cyber safety, protection methods, best practices for cyber security, response to cyber incidents. We'll have actual examples, and then we will conclude this. It's going to be quite, I've got quite the menu for you. It's quite rich, and I hope, well, I've been talking to myself for a bit, but I hope we will get a bit more engaging and get this party more interesting. It's important. Digital safety or cyber security is important because it protects your data and other people's data and the integrity of your digital assets from the ever-evolving threats that are coming up in the digital space. And lately, the biggest threat is artificial intelligence and machine learning, robotics. Like I said, everything that's good, there's always an opposite and equal side to it. And there's an increased reliance on technology. And so your digital safety has become crucial to maintain confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of information for you and for other people. And so it's almost like everything's gone digital. You know, NHS digital. You've got to make your appointment online. You can renew your prescriptions online. Everything that, everything's gone online, including for some jobs, interviews are online, held on Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And so not knowing how to protect your gadgets while using all these different beautiful platforms can be dangerous for you. On the internet, all data, and I mean all data, I call it your finger is valuable to cyber criminals. From your home address to your date of birth, your bank details, your anything that you put out there that's personally identifiable, the biggest seller is your consumer behavior. Everything you're browsing, you're subscribing to, you're looking at, it can be sold to third parties so they can sell other stuff to you. And the acquisition of that information can be illicit, like illegal. Almost everything in our homes these days has ears. Like there's a book my daughter bought the other day. It's called Big Brother is Watching, and this book was written in 1984. So you can imagine how far the digital streets have been active, even when we were not aware of them. And so your scroll, your eyeballs, whatever you say, whatever I'm saying right now, with Alexa or Google or whatever, all those machine learning tools that can actually speak back to you and do things for you, they then tailor different adverts and target you and target you and target you. If you've ever had a conversation in your home about something, and then you open your phone and you go say to Facebook, and all of a sudden, the first thing you see is an advert of that exact thing you were talking about in your conversation. Because everything, as long as you have gadgets in your home, microwaves, TV, and they are on, you have Alexa, you have your phone right next to you, and you're talking about something, someone somewhere is listening and they're going to target you. Most especially if you have these apps live and logged on your gadget. That's it. They can hear you, they can see you, and they know what you want. And so even though you may not have subscribed to whatever they are selling, they've got you as long as they're running an advert on that platform and they're paying that platform money for, ads dollar, then they're going to target you. That platform will target you on their behalf. So imagine your mom, your sister, your friend, your daughter send you a message via WhatsApp. I've had so many of these, and I always tell people delete. And usually they say, you know, there's free food from Aldi, or they're giving away up to £100 worth of food. Just click this link and you know, go get it. I always ask people, have you got the free food? And always, I've never had anyone say, yeah, I got it. Because the answer is no. It's not Aldi, it's not Lidl, it's not Sainsbury's, it's not Asda, it's none of the supermarkets giving it away. When they do stuff like that, they do it in store. And so that person only thinks you need the food or you might need the free stuff. They don't know that this is some scammer trying to get your personal identifiable information. And the minute you click on that link, they've got you. They've got access into your gadget and they'll extract whatever they need. Most often than not, it's just your details, your address, and the address of other people that are on your phone, as long as you've saved their addresses. And that's where you get to receive mail that you didn't ever subscribe for, and you think, where did this come from? They've got you, as long as you're digitally active, or you click on links because my friend Seal sent it to me, and now I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna click on it and see what she meant when she sent this to me. Usually they have not clicked it themselves. When used correctly and safely, the internet can be a fun place to be, a wonderful resource, because I don't want to scare you. So my job today is not to scare you. It's just to hand you the tools and give you the information you need to enjoy the digital streets without exposing yourself or your loved ones or your job. So you can stay safe online, but by following some of the things that I'm going to share with you. And so all the scary bits are over, well, almost. Let's focus on how to be safer online. So you need to stop and think. Every time you open your phone, you need to stop and think. It might not be every time, but when you're opening something you've never opened before, you're clicking on a link you've never clicked before, you want to buy from a website you've never bought from before, you need to ask yourself, why is it important to keep your information safe? And what tools can you use to keep your information safe? When you ask yourself this question very quickly, then you kind of pause before you go on with the clicking, because we buy so many things online these days, and we are very quick to put our details in, your full name, your full address. They want everything. Some of these websites are pretty cheeky. They want your name, they want your address, they want your date of birth, they want your bank details, and then they say, to keep your data safe on this site, please choose a couple of safe words. What's your mother's maiden name? What's your favorite pet? Where were you born? Or what city? All that's information you're giving them. It seems quite safe to give it to them. After all, they're telling you they're going to save your information. But the question is, do you trust the staff that they hire to keep your information safe? Because these staff will have access to everything that even your bank actually asks from you. Your mother's maiden name or your father's name, the city you were born, your favorite pet. Those are some of the common things that your bank will ask you sometimes in order to keep your account safe. And now this other merchant is asking you the same questions. And you're going to give them your bank details too as you go ahead to purchase. I'll give you a personal example. Barclays Bank, and this is something they don't want publicized, they've outsourced all their customer care, almost all of it, to India. And lately, there's a group of people in wherever they've outsourced our details, who are accessing people's details, and they are buying stuff online in your name, specifically via TikTok, and it shows up on your account that you bought it. And they buy very small amounts. Sometimes you might not miss. You might not notice, especially if you're not the kind of person who keeps a check on your account. And maybe you receive your bank statements and you file them away very quickly, maybe because you don't want to look, because maybe the account is not as exciting for you. Then you miss those small purchases. They can do it for months without you noticing. They never buy anything big because they know you would notice. Or they know the bank would then call you and say, have you made this purchase? Or they'll send you a text message to confirm that you want to make this purchase. So their purchases are normally under £10. And Barclays won't accept that it's a breach. They almost always blame the customer that you must have given your details to somebody who's accessed your details. So watch out if you're on Barclays, and check your account, check your details. I'll also give you a few more very well-known platforms that have had breaches in the past 2 to 3 years, and you'll be very shocked. But they don't publicize these breaches because they would have an exodus of customer leaving, showing them their bills. So think before you post, think before you click, think before you purchase, think before you share content online. It might be seen by others. So one of also the things you must consider is avoid anything that's inappropriate or hurtful as you're sharing your content. We gave an example of a bank scam, so that might not be it might not be inappropriate according to you, but it's going to be hurtful for you to be losing money without you noticing. Or whatever you may post may be hurtful to others. You never know. So think before you post, think before you share, think before you click that purchase button. What else? Who else are you sharing your personal identifiable information with? And almost always, although we have what we call stranger danger, we do it physically. Like we tell our children, don't talk to strangers, but we talk to them every blessed day in the digital space. And more often than not, we call them our social media friends sometimes, but these are total strangers, and we don't actually know them. We don't know them because people share what they want to share online, what they think they want you to see. And when you meet them in person, you might think, ew, if I knew this person before, I would never even have befriended them online. And when it comes to brands and merchants, there are quite a few merchants who are not as strict with their digital and cyber safety. They are not putting in enough stops and checks for their customers to be safe and to give them their personal identifiable information. So whichever websites you purchase stuff from, think before you click. So why is it important to think before you post something online? And there are some things we're going to talk about that you shouldn't post online, but I'd like for you to share some of the things if you like. Maybe you can post them in the chat. Some examples of things you should not post online. Would you like to share either physically, unmute yourself? And what do you think you shouldn't post online? Obviously, we'll talk about a few things. Don't post clients' data or patients' data. Very, 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 very true. And when we talk about patient data and client data, we are definitely you're in a position to know people's medical history, medical challenges, and everything in between. Their children, their past medical history, their parents' medical history, you name it. That's very true. What else should we not post online? Especially on social media. Self-harm. True. Self-harm, we should not talk. Sometimes on social media, sometimes when someone posts content about self-harm, especially when they're talking about harming themselves, it's a cry for help. But almost always social media is not the right place to share that content unless they are sharing it in a private community, like a private group where there's support in that group. But if they post that content on their profile, almost always people will just troll on them and say, be nasty to them, sometimes even bully them. Maybe their bullies are there, continuing to bully them online. So yeah, we shouldn't really be posting stuff about ourselves online. There's something that we'll talk about in a bit that we do as parents. We do it so openly. It has become so open. And parents don't understand that our children are human beings and they deserve to be consulted before certain things are done, especially in the digital streets. And one of the things we should consult our children about is sharing their images online without their consent. Because we assume that they're our children, we have a right to share about them. For instance, their birthday or their achievements. But my children I asked them years ago, are you happy for me to share your stuff online on my Facebook, for instance? Because that's where I must share the most personal stuff sometimes. And they were like, yeah, you can share, but not everything. And then they gave me a list of the things they don't want me to share. because they feel it's too personal. It's about family. It's none of your business. Like, nobody else should know about it. And the minute they got to the age of 18, we revisited that conversation. And then they proceeded to say, don't post anything about us online. You can post about our birthday and say congratulations, but that's it. Nothing. Don't talk about us online, especially Facebook. They are not even active on that platform. And then when they have special events, like say when they are graduating, again, I ask them for permission. Is it okay for me to share? Very few parents do it. They share their children's content online without permission from the children. And a lot of parents think, why should I ask my children permission? Yes, you should, because until you know what artificial intelligence can do to your child, you should not post your child's content or images online without their permission. There's a lot that you can learn about how artificial intelligence can be used online. Best example are a lot of celebrities are being reproduced. Their faces are being used, and their faces are being superimposed on, say, another human being, and then they are shown as they are promoting some kind of either cryptocurrency, or they are promoting a new blockchain, or they are promoting some kind of business. And those things are all great. Cryptocurrency is great. I have investments in there. Blockchain is amazing. But there are a lot of scams online promoting things that are not actually above board and using celebrities. And they use artificial intelligence to recreate those images and videos. And the celebrity literally is like, I have no clue how that happened. I did not actually promote that. Quite a few of them have been on BBC saying they haven't promoted that. Martin Lewis was actually trolled and used by some scammers to be promoting stuff on social media. And it was a serious battle between him and Facebook would not take down that advert until, I think, the Cambridge Analytica event. That's when they took down that advert. But he literally could not win with them. So be a good digital citizen. Treat others online with respect. Avoid harmful behavior. And I've just given you an example of harmful behavior that we parents do, especially on Facebook. We share our children's stuff online without really knowing that we're exposing our children to the kind of people we wouldn't want our children to even connect with offline, let alone online. So let us look at some other harmful behavior. Obviously, there are some things we don't talk about, but we do talk about it a lot. Let me give you an example. When you look at body shaming, and sometimes we don't even realize we're body shaming ourselves, right? Over the last 18 months, I have taken a personal decision to release a shed load of unwanted body fat because it was truly affecting my health and my well-being and my joy. And so last January, that's January 2023, I was 80 kilograms and I'm a very short woman. So 80 kilograms, very short woman, not very good. So I took the decision, I did the work, and then I started sharing my results because it's me, about me. And I shared my results. The first time I shared was around February this year. And you should have seen the amount of people who came at me going, "You are too small, Mrs. Kalunji. Mrs. Kalunji. Oh my goodness, are you okay, Mrs. Kalunji?" Many of them came from a place of caring, but they were literally body shaming. Like none of them cared to know that I had written a self-congratulatory message saying, "I've done it. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I've achieved what I've always wanted. I look like I looked when I was 25. And the comments, I think there were only a handful of comments of people saying, "Good on you. Please let me know what you did." The majority of them were like, "Oh my goodness, no, you look better when you wear this. You look better." Blah, blah, blah. Body shaming. And then there's other body shaming where people comment on other people's stuff saying, "Oh my goodness, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that." Someone shared a picture of a wedding in a group yesterday, actually. And And yeah, a lot of people are like, ew, oh my goodness, a simu will be, but me, I wouldn't do that. Ichi, 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 things like that. I'm speaking Uganda because they were actually using that language in their comment. And I thought that is so sad because it's someone's choice what they do to their bodies. And sometimes it's not their choice what they do to their bodies. Sometimes they're on some kind of medication. Sometimes they've done everything they can and nothing is moving. If you're a menopausal woman, you could even be facing that challenge where whatever you do, nothing seems to shift any weight. And so when somebody comments and their comments are not encouraging, you feel like you're not doing the best you can do. Body shaming is very harmful and it's very common online. Cyberbullying, and a lot of people do it hiding behind their computers or their gadgets. They wouldn't say the things they say, and they wouldn't do the things they do offline in person, but they do it in the digital space because they think they can get away with it. And more often than not, they use a pseudonym. So a lot of people don't use their real name in the digital space, and so it's difficult to know who exactly is being so nasty to another human in the digital space when it comes to cyberbullying. In fact, our children can be cyberbullied and they don't even know who of their schoolmates is actually bullying them on social media or in the digital streets, even though they may know who's bullying them in school. And sometimes this person being a total bully online is the sweetest person in school, that you would not even connect the two human beings. I've talked about sharing without permission. Parents do this a lot. And yeah, there's a lot more harmful behavior, but we'll carry on because I've heard a few people say they cannot speak. So that's okay. I've given you some examples of harmful behavior online. Obviously, a lot of people don't understand that cyberbullying can just be speaking unkindly to somebody just because you can, not knowing their mental health state, not knowing what they are going through, responding to what they are posting in a way that's not complimentary. My mother used to say, if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. And a lot of people just don't use that in the digital space. When they get to the digital space, it's all gloves off. They think they can do anything and say anything, because they're hiding behind their gadget and, they can't do nothing. But lately, what you post online, including what you share, even if you're not the originator of that content, can get you into serious trouble. It can get you into serious trouble and it can land you into jail. There's a very famous example of a BBC presenter who forwarded what he received and shared it to his friends, and it landed him in jail. And all he did was forward. It was not his content. He clearly was not the author of it, and he was sharing it. But the people he shared it with were mentally affected. Their mental health was adversely affected, and they sued him. So what you share, whether it's WhatsApp, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, it can come back to bite you. Whether you're the originator or you're just the forwarder, you're culpable. You could be criminally culpable. So it's very important that you become a good digital citizen. And we'll look at how you can do that. What does it mean to be a good digital citizen? How can you be respectful and kind to others on? Let's see, I can see a comment. Misinformation and disinformation, exactly. And sometimes some people deliberately create content to lie to others. Misinformation. Disinformation is similar to misinformation, and I've seen a lot of information that is actually misinformation from Ugandans, both in the diaspora and from the motherland. They think they are content creators. They think they can get online and literally hold a whole live stream based on total lies, based on they slander others. And I think I've heard there was a Kenyan woman on TikTok who was saying that are Ugandans for real? Like some of the things Ugandans tolerate, they would not be tolerated in any other country. But people talk ill about others and they don't get sued. they go live on Facebook and hold a whole live for 3-4 hours talking about somebody or somebodies, and totally tearing down someone's reputation, and people throw in their bits. People comment about it like they know the person that's being talked about at a level that is being talked about, and it becomes a whole let's tear down somebody party, and they do it over and over and over again, and nobody seems to care. I used the block and delete and unfollow button a lot when it comes to people like that. There are a lot of so-called Ugandan influencers I don't even follow or respect completely because of that. I consider the digital streets like physical streets. The way I behave offline is the way I behave online. What you see is what you get, because I believe that that's where I can put my best foot forward for people that don't even know me, to get to know, to get to see the light, to get to have a better life, a better journey, a better day, even just because I've showed up on the streets, on their digital streets, even though I'm based in Liverpool. So that's why I find the digital space a blessing, although a lot of people misuse it and misinform others and cause total chaos without caring. They don't give a total damn what they are doing to others. So it's important that we become good digital citizens. One of the things we can do, and now we are getting into the meat and potatoes of how to be more better digital citizens, is to, first of all, charity begins at home. If you are exposing yourself in the digital streets, and I don't mean it in a literal way, you're then exposing the people you care about the most, because the content you hold in your gadgets literally is usually also has their personal identifiable information. So one of the safer things you can do, first of all, for yourself, is to use strong passwords, right? And we'll get to some examples. I'll give you a live example of people who don't even use strong passwords. And a lot of, when I've held this training, I can tell you over 80% of the participants tell you they use the same password everywhere. And that password is almost always easy to identify. Never share your password with anyone. And I know that you have hundreds of online resources now. Every app needs you to have a password. Every website needs you to have a password. Everywhere you need a password. So it is difficult. I'll not say it might be. It is difficult. For instance, me, I'm a woman of a certain age, and I got to a time when I couldn't even remember. Sometimes I'd be looking at my daughter and I'm like, and then I'd say, and I'd say her name, and she'd be looking at me like, why were you pointing at me like that? And I'd say I had forgotten your name, and she'd be like, are you crazy? You need to go see the doctor. And it's nothing to do with the doctor, it's menopause. So I love what you just said. Prioritize, use two-factor authentication for everything. Absolutely. Before you even get to two-factor authentication, I'd very much like to introduce to you the password manager. Because of hundreds of passwords that we use, we all need a password manager. And personally, I use LastPass. LastPass is a password manager. It allows you to be able to autofill your passwords on certain websites that you've chosen, that you say this is safe. I can actually access it, and I don't mind. I visit it regularly, and you save your password through that. You can download it on your phone. You can download it on your laptop. And once you've downloaded it, you can then say, you create your profile, and then you're able to use it. You never have to share your password with anybody. You give them permission to access a certain asset without giving them a password. And once they are done doing stuff for you, you can remove their access levels. So when I hire someone, for instance, when I hire a freelance content creator, or if I hire a freelance web designer, because we have a lot of websites we have to design, and sometimes we are inundated, then I hire somebody. I have a pool that I work with, but when I get them, to come into our team, I only give them access through LastPass. So when we are done with the work, I revoke their access and they can never access that client's work. Because that's it. The job is done. They don't need to be part of the process anymore. Okay. So LastPass is a great tool that you can use to manage your passwords and to never have to share your password with anybody if you need to give them access of some sort. Now, it's very important that you give access to one trusted person, maybe your partner or your eldest child or your best friend, if you trust them like that. Because in case you ever there's a challenge and you can't access your assets or you return to God, then they're able to access certain assets and revoke your access, delete your accounts and protect your details from. I cannot tell you how sad it was. I had a friend who passed away, and they passed away in 2016, and in 2019 I received a message from them. And I thought, well, this is a message from the other world. Like, why would this person send me information? And it was Facebook reminding me that this was our anniversary with this person, and would I like to send them a message? And then I realized that their family had never deactivated her account, because these are things people don't think about when a person passes on, to deactivate their digital accounts so that they are no longer walking the digital streets, even if they are no longer on planet Earth. And so when you give your master password to one trusted person, one of your instructions should be, please deactivate my account when I'm not here anymore. It's another thing that I'd like to introduce to you is have that master password in your will and instruct somebody, whether it is your executor of your will, to actually deactivate your accounts, including your bank accounts, once things are done that need to be done. It's a very important tool, because literally this LastPass is the key to your digital kingdom as well. So you may or may not use it. It's a very strong tool, and they have all kinds of security digitally, like Fort Knox. So if you have an app, ensure that you have an app on your phone that's just for simple data safety and security. Get a firewall for your phone, for your tablet, for your laptop. You can use apps like CCleaner. I use it to clear cache every day. You know, this simple Google or clearing your cache on Google, clearing your history on Google. They only give you up to, say, 24 hours, 7 days, or whatever one week. They can also allow you to clear your cache for all time, but they don't quite clear it completely, because they don't get to clear whatever other browsers you've used. For instance, you may have used Chrome, and then you've used Edge, you've used Firefox, and so you've used all these different browsers, but you've only been able to clear your Google cache. So CCleaner clears all, including the ones you did not see, the ones that are hiding behind other sites and other apps, waiting to take your details, and they are all cookies. All those cookies are cleared off your gadget, so that people are not watching you 24/7, and you don't even know they're watching you just because you get them permission to watch you. So every day, just like you clean your home, I don't know how often you clean your home, or if you don't do it every day, at least do it once a week. Clear your gadget once a week, your laptop, your phone, your tablet. You can use McAfee, you can use CCleaner, you can use Avast antivirus, Kaspersky. I'm sure you know some good ones as well, but definitely it's good to clear your cache off your gadget every time, every day, at least once a week, if not every day. Because then you're making sure that you're not being watched and every single action you're doing online being observed by people you don't know through their cookies. And we'll talk about cookies. I think, oh no, it's a different training altogether. Because I teach about cookies. It's a whole trade. It's very interesting. But we'll see. It depends on whether you choose for us to talk about cookies or talk about something else. Do it daily. It takes only 5 seconds, and it serves your data. It will save your data from cookies. Talk about cookies. And there are a lot of phishing apps behind websites that you don't even know are watching you. Like when I said before, when you go online and you're talking with your family about something random, and then you go onto an app, and there, right there is the ad, and you're like, were they watching me? Yes, they were watching. So, what are some ways you can protect yourself from online scams and viruses? We talked about two-factor authentication. You've shared that. We've talked about using strong passwords. We've talked about using a password manager to help you manage all the hundreds of passwords that everybody wants your details. Every time you buy from them something, then they want you to subscribe. Some websites won't even let you purchase as a guest. You have to have an account because they want to come back and target you or retarget you over and over again. So what should you do if you see something suspicious online? Obviously, we think that when we see things online, we shouldn't report them. We can report something we see offline to the police. We can call the police instantly. You're calling the police 999. I'm watching something. There's a thief here, or someone's being attacked, or something, or my neighbor is being battered. But then when we see things online that are suspicious, we don't think that that's something to report. And every platform, social media platform, for instance, has a reporting process where you can report suspicious, harmful, bullying, all kinds of behaviors that are against their best practice. But we don't report these things. Don't know why. But I hope that from today you will. I report a lot of stuff, especially on Facebook. So I have become anti-Betty or anti-acid. So be cautious. Use your privacy settings. Watch out for scams, viruses, report suspicious activities. Be a good digital citizen. Because you're not becoming a snitch. You're being a good digital citizen. Because some things are truly harmful, worse still, because the person on the other side, on the receiving end, more often than not, doesn't even know what's hit them. And they don't know where to look or what to do or who to approach for help. So you could be their very caring auntie, uncle, or friend when you report what you see and stop the bad behavior before it becomes harmful or dangerous. So there's a golden rule in the online, in the digital space. You think, we call it the think rule. Before you type, before you post, before you share, before you engage, think, is it true? If you don't know if it's true, then you don't know. You cannot confirm its own authenticity. You're not the originator, or you're the originator of that content and you know it's not true and you're posting it. Please don't. Is it helpful? Who are you helping when you share with them this link from Aldi for free food that you haven't got yourself? Go get it yourself first. Then you see how helpful it is. More often than not, it's a scam. And so even though you didn't help yourself, you've not got somebody else into trouble. So the other thing is just delete it. I mean, if you have a local Aldi or Lidl, just go over there and say, by the way, is this true? Can I get the free food? And if it's true, they'll tell you, yeah, go right ahead, click on it, do this, and you'll get it. But more often than not, they'll tell you, no, it's a scam, delete. Is it inspiring? Is somebody else going to say, I'm so grateful, I've been asking, praying, fasting, and tithing for this, and it has come through from Rehema, and I'm so grateful. If it is, go ahead and share it. Is it necessary? And we've convinced ourselves a lot that things are necessary in the digital space. You have to ask yourself the second question: is it necessary in my physical space? So if I was with this person physically, would it be necessary for me to share this information with them? And then you're sharing it with thousands of people you don't even know, you have not met in person, just because they are your digital friends. If it's not necessary, don't share it. Is it kind? And when you think about kindness, think about yourself. If I received this, would I feel good and warm and fuzzy? And so feel like, Rehema is calm. This Sauda has been so kind to me today. By sharing this, this was my message. I've been looking for an answer, and this is the answer for today. If it's not, then don't share it. That's the golden rule of being a good digital citizen. Think. So, understand that the dark web data cannot be erased. If your information, your personal identifiable information, gets into the dark web, if a scammer or a hacker gets it, it can't be erased, because the dark web is not the web you see every day. That is the white web. That's why even in the digital space, we have white hat SEO, then there's black hat SEO. Because everything that goes on the dark side, you don't know, you can't even trace it, because they have so many walls to get, you can't get to them. And it can lead to being exposed, to your credentials being exposed, to your character being exposed in a way you cannot cleanse it back. And it's like Okumanye. I call it Okumanye and Koko. You cannot get back every single one of those little feathers you got off the chicken once you've removed its feathers. It's impossible. So don't start what you cannot clean up or clear up or stop. And social media can be involved in data breaches too. I very briefly talked about the Facebook Cambridge Analytica breach. I don't know if any of you remembers it, but it was a huge scam and they ended up in court, even right here in the UK. It was a UK breach. Then there was LinkedIn. LinkedIn was breached as well, less than 2 years ago. Dropbox was breached 2 years ago. Dropbox being like a cloud space where you can save your stuff and data. And they did catch the breach pretty quickly, but it was a big, huge breach. And recently, the Red Cross data was breached, and over 500,000 users' details, vulnerable information was taken by hackers. Again, these organizations are large, and even though they get breached, a lot of people don't get to even know that this organization they use or they work for or they use every day has been breached, because they very quickly clean up that information. It does not become too much of public information. Apart from the Facebook Analytica one, it was there in the UK. It carried on for a few weeks. I've shared with you the Barclays one. Again, they are keeping it under wraps. They don't want nobody else to know, because obviously they'd lose a ton load of money. People would take their money elsewhere, and they don't want that. So let's be safe online. Keep an eye out on what's going on in your digital streets, in the streets that you visit, that you use regularly, so that you know whether there's been a breach and you can protect yourself. In the digital streets, there is an understanding, or like an understanding, that Microsoft was breached recently, although they very quickly pretended it wasn't a breach and said they knew what was going on and they had fixed it. But a lot of people's gadgets did not get fixed because they didn't know what was going on. They don't follow what's going on, and they've never been fixed. So very important to be in the loop about what's going on in the digital space. We talked about some methods to protect against cyber threats. We talked about multi-factor authentication. And I always say use 2. Even one's not enough, use 2. So if you can use an authenticator app and then you use your biometrics, very good, do that. We've talked about antiviruses, McAfee, Kaspersky, Avast. These detect and remove malicious software. I make sure that mine are on automatic, so I don't even have to remember to clean, because there's too many things to remember. Clear your cache, clear your antivirus, clear this, save that, cook your dinner, be a wife. Oh my God. So some things you can automate them. Encryption. A lot of people don't know you can encrypt your data, and you can turn it into a code, so that you can also have a code that people can scan, but you would have to give them the code, right? So encrypt your data, especially, for instance, a lot of you work in places where the data is encrypted. You can't necessarily just access it just like that. When I log onto my website, my data is encrypted, and if I try to log on a gadget that I don't normally log on, I can't, unless I enter a certain special word or use my biometrics to access it. So it becomes, you've created also multiple walls around your data, so that even if a little smart kid gets access, they can't actually breach certain walls, because they'd have to use your physical parts of your physical body to get to the next step. So yes, use them all. Use them all. That's what I say. Don't just say, I'll just use one. Use them all. For personal identifiable information, for areas where you feel like this I don't need anybody else to know about this. Use all the necessary. Use Norton, McAfee, yeah, on several devices. Exactly. I love what you're sharing. Prioritize limited. I love it. And Norton is actually quite good. McAfee is also quite good. McAfee, you can, for instance, I buy McAfee for unlimited devices for 2 years, and it costs about £79. But every single gadget is then covered. My phones, and it comes with a VPN. So when I'm traveling, I definitely make sure that's activated on my phone, so that even when I'm in an airport and I access my phone and I put on a data bundle, they can't know where I am, because I put on a VPN. I could be in Manchester airport and it shows that like I'm in Calcutta. So it's very very good to use these tools, especially a VPN, especially when you're traveling, kind of blocks your location so that you don't share. One of the things that I forgot to share with you, that people share online a lot. People post that they are going away. People post that they are going on holiday, right? When they are going on holiday, on the day they are going on holiday, they post their image when they're at the airport. And then they're letting the whole world know that, yeah, there's no one at home. You can go over there and take a look, drop in and pick up what you want, right? So don't tell people you're not at home. Like, I always post my pictures when I've come. I came back like 2-3 days ago, and then I post my picture, and anyone would think I've just left, but I'm back. Why? Because I'm at home then. You can't come. I'll be waiting for you with my jambia. You see? So don't tell people that you're not at home. And we'll talk about location sharing and when is it important and when is it not important to share your location, right? So let's look at some examples. I hope you're all alert. Use the chat box. I'll be checking it, and let's look at some examples. You discover that someone has created a fake profile using your name and photo online. What should you do? And it has happened to me twice on Facebook. Someone created a fake account on TikTok with my names and my picture, obviously with all the beautiful pictures I share of me, because they are mine. My children said, stop sharing that one. So I said, I don't share theirs unless I'm celebrating them with their permission. So someone created a fake account of me and was sending people messages, trying to tell them to buy stuff that I wasn't selling. Obviously, fortunately, someone sent me a message saying, is it you, Julie, trying to sell me? I don't know what it was. I was like, no, it's not me. Why wouldn't I call you instead of? And the person they sent it to was a personal friend. So I was like, I would have called you if I wanted to sell that to you. And then she was, well, clearly it's not just you then, because there's an account with your name and your current picture. So they use the picture that's current on your profile on that platform, so that the people they are trying to fool will think it's you. No? Okay, let's move on. We don't want to know what we're going to do. If someone uses a fake profile using your name, every platform has a facility for reporting them. You report them, you take a screenshot, you get the link. On Facebook, when you get all that, you can report them, report the account, and then you send your friend, you post on your profile, and you tell them, this is not me. Someone's trying to create what's the word? Create an account in names. See, I told you I forget some words. Clone. It's a clone, right? Someone's trying to clone my account. Please do not click on that account. If they send you a message, don't answer them. Don't click on any links they send you. I've reported it to Facebook. And then, this is very important, tell them to report it too. Tell them. So if a lot of people report, especially on Facebook, on X, on LinkedIn too, they shut that account down. If a lot of people report. If only you report, sometimes they ignore you, thinking you're being a bit funny. And if you ask your friends to report it to your family members, so a lot of people report that account at the same time, they'll take it down. The first time I reported it, it took 2 days. They took it down. The second time I reported it, and a lot of people, I asked a lot of people to report it. They took it down that very day. So, but sometimes Facebook takes a long time to remove a fake account. And there are a lot of clones on Facebook because the hackers clone people's account. The person doesn't know they've been cloned because they're not active really online. And the hackers thought that they were cloning someone who's, big, but this person is no longer active on the platform. And so it stays there as another account. Sometimes we clone ourselves. Especially if Facebook closes your account down for whatever imagined or real crime, because they do have Facebook jail too. You can create a new account. And that's how I became Julie Seal Kalunji on Facebook, which kind of stuck. Because those who know me personally know me as Sylvia. And so, Facebook did something with my other account. I've never recovered it. And so I just created switched my names around and created a new account, which became even more, I did more work on it. And so there we are. Let's see what's in the chat. Oh my God. Yeah. Send your contacts a message, advise them of the situation. Not only should you advise them, ask them to report. So you send them a message, you take a screenshot of the fake account. Don't send anyone that link, just use the screenshot and then tell them to report that account using that screenshot. And it will show your name, but there will be different things that do not align. And because you, the owner, will have reported it, then they will know which account to take down and deactivate. So yeah, tell your contact and report it. And since you don't know the person behind it, you can't report them to police, but you can definitely report them to the account, platform owners. Let's look at something else. You receive a message from someone you don't know asking for your personal information. What should you do? That one's really simple. Ignore them, block them, delete them. Really, it is that simple. If someone you don't know is asking for your personal information, you don't know them, you've not reached out to them, they are clearly phishing, and we'll talk about that soon. Then you can also report them to the police. But if the fake account has a link, then can't those people click on the link and let you get hacked? That's what I'm saying. Take a screenshot of the account, as much of the information on that account as you can. You will notice that the cloned account lacks a lot of information that is not actually yours. The fake account will have very little information. It will have your name, your picture, and that's it. Also, the name of that account will be random digits. So when you click on when you go to take a screenshot, it will be showing the proper URL or link of that account, which is fake. So people don't have to click on it. That screenshot will tell them that this is a fake account. Also, when you report it, the platform managers will know which account to delete because it will be showing them the correct URL or link. So a lot of people will click on the links of the fake account because they trust you. That's the sad bit. They trust you, so they'll click. But the important thing is ask them to report it. Those that are actually tuned into you, they love your message, they love your content, they will get the message. Those that are not, they will believe. I know quite a few people believed that it was me trying to sell them stuff. They unfollowed me. Personally, if you unfollow me and I don't know you as a human being in person, I have not missed anyway, as far as I'm concerned. The people that matter don't care, and the people that don't care don't matter. So if you receive a message from a friend telling you to click on a link to win a prize, what should you do? For example, you might not even, we gave an example of the Aldi or Lidl food. You're going to win a basket of food or shopping for 10 months. Just delete it and then tell them, please don't click on that link you sent me. It is a scam. Don't click on it, delete it, clear your cache, clean your phone up, and then tell your friend not to click on it, please. And if they got the food, tell them to send it again. Do you know what I mean? Tell them, oh, so you got the food. Okay, send the link again. But first, protect yourself and your data and your family's data, and then ask questions later. Makes sense, doesn't it? So that one's an easy one. You accidentally, when you're on a website and then the pop-up comes on your screen, and something comes on your screen that pops up that was not on that page you were looking at, and your computer starts acting strange. What should you do? When pop-ups had just begun, had just come out, oh my goodness, they were the most annoying things. You're browsing the internet, you're looking at something, and then this strange thing pops up onto your screen, and it won't go away. And in most cases, just touching any part of that pop-up downloads whatever it is it wanted to download on your gadget. Those used to be the old pop-ups of old. Pop-ups have become a lot more sophisticated. They're actually asking you to do something. They expect you to take certain action, and clicking on it will not necessarily cause your computer to start acting strange. But some pop-ups still do, especially malicious pop-ups. And if that happens to your computer, the best thing you can do is shut down whatever you were looking at, go straight to your CCleaner or McAfee or Avast or Norton, Kaspersky, whatever antivirus program you have on, and clean your computer, clean your cache, clear cache, do everything you can, and then shut it down. Let it rest for a bit. An hour or two later, open it again, clean it again. You've not been doing anything but clean it again. I cannot recommend CCleaner now, because you get to clean things you didn't even know were on your computer, and you get to save space on you, because everything that you do on your computer takes up space. And sometimes that space is not given back to you if you do not clean that, if you do not cleanse and remove that visit. That you imagine you go to a shop and your footsteps stay on the floor and they keep following you everywhere you're going because you went into that shop. So you don't want to do that. Clean your digital footprint so that you don't get strange things happening on your gadget just because you visited or something popped up and you clicked on it and things like that. What you can do on your devices is simple. You only use devices in common areas around your home. What do I mean by that? Because you say, hey, Julie, we travel, we go to work, we visit friends, we go places, we go out for dinner, we go out, we go clubbing. A lot of people use Wi-Fi all over the place just because they're there. And all these public Wi-Fi and data access points are also the hunting grounds for cyber criminals. That's where they place their big eyes to see you. Their digital eyes, their digital cameras, and you're busy using public Wi-Fi all over the place just because you cannot spend a minute off your gadget. Like you're gonna miss something on social media important. You're not. If something is important, someone will call you and tell you. You'll see it on the news. You'll see it all over WhatsApp. When you finally get there, you don't have to be online 24/7. Like, think about life when you didn't have a gadget. What did that feel like? And I am a digital enthusiast, but I have hard stops. When we are done and it's dinner time, that's it, hard stop for me. And it's very rare that I'll even pick your call if you call me after a certain hour. If my phone will even be on for you to be able to come through onto my phone. And it's a mobile phone, but I switch it off. Why? Because you need to give yourself time when you're not on gadgets. You need to give yourself, your body, a chance to release all the positive ions. Our bodies have positive and negative ions. The Asians call it yin and yang. And digital gadgets have come with a ton load of positive ions, and they overpower our negative ions. And so we are over inundated with positive ions from the digital gadgets, which affects our sleep patterns. Digital gadgets have blue light, like the blue light we see in the sky right now. It's a nice, beautiful day over here in Liverpool. The skies are blue, and that blue light is great for us to wake us up in the morning and during the day when we need to be alert. But when it starts to get to about 5, 6, 7, you need to completely reduce your use of digital gadgets. And if you don't, then you need to have something like this: blue light glasses. that filter out that blue light, especially in the evening. Not during the day. You can use them during the day as well. But at night, absolutely, definitely have blue light blocking out glasses for your eyes. Because why? You want to watch TV. And chances are your TV is a smart gadget. Well, everyone now has a smart TV when we went digital, because UK switched from analog to digital. And almost every household has a digital TV that's a smart TV. So if you're watching TV till God knows what hours, you're exposing yourself to blue light. Then you go to bed and there is not a single wink of sleep happening because your body has been told we are awake. You're supposed to be awake now. So you're playing with your circadian rhythm when you are on these gadgets all the time. And I'm not talking about even working late, because you could be out working for a night shift and then you go home and you literally can't sleep. Why? Because every time you got a break, you pulled out your phone and did not use blue light blocking glasses to protect your melatonin producing body, so you can go to sleep when you need to go to sleep. So let's look at some other bits. You receive an email from someone claiming to be a family member in trouble and in need of money. You know that one. I think that one's one of the most common ones. It's not even a family member. Sometimes it's just a random person telling you, I found your email, I don't know where, and I am in trouble. Please send me some money. I am stuck here. Or they'll tell you, oh, I've got your email and I am such and such a big person and I can't access my money. I have millions of pounds or dollars or euros. And if you give me your details, I'll send you the money and then you can give me some. Those are some of the common ones. They even call them Nigerian scams. But they are common, but there are some people who just literally don't know that these are common scams. And sometimes you receive an email from somebody telling you they are in trouble, but they've taken this a step further. They are using WhatsApp, and they can use it because if you clicked on that food from Aldi link, and then they know your child's number, they hack your child's number, then they send you a message that looks like it's from your child, telling you, mommy, I'm stuck, whatever, send me some money for the bus. And it might be a very small amount, but the minute you send that money on that account, or they'll tell you whatever, they'll tell you somewhere where they feel you send the money without calling your child first. And then they've got you. And then they start draining your account. All these are scams. You call your child, call your family member, tell them, listen, what are you doing there? Or call someone else in the family and say, so and so, did they go wherever? They'll tell you no. It's just, and you know it's a scam. So it's very important to verify. Always verify. I did tell you I was going to talk about passwords, right? It's easier to use one password, isn't it? Use your password on your bank, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your NHS app, then on your Roman Amazon, on your eBay, same account, same password. It's easier, isn't it? And the answer is no. Let me tell you, because some of you might be like this person. I have a client, we call her Barbara for data protection. It's not her name. And we needed access to her website, to her PayPal, her Stripe, in order to create an API for her payment processes on our website. We had created an e-commerce store for her, and she needed something is changing. And she also wanted content schedule for her so she could create a blog and show up in her space. And then when I said, well, send me your password so that we can get access to your digital assets. Now, this is someone who I'd talked to about LastPass. So I assumed she was then going to send us password as in access, because I asked for access as opposed to a password. So she goes, Julie. I said, what? She said, you know my password. I said, I don't need your password. I just need access. And she goes, my password is my daughter's name and date of birth. On all my social media, my website, I said, when we created your website, we gave you a very complicated password. She goes, yeah, it was too complicated. I changed it to my daughter's name and my date of birth. That way I don't forget it. I said, you did what? She said, yeah, it's very easy. I know some of you do the same. You might be the most amazing audience that I've ever had the pleasure of having, sharing with, spoken to, and you all have amazing, unique, totally bang up to date passwords for your digital assets. But I can tell you now, over 80% of the audiences I speak and share with this information have a similar challenge as my friend Barbara. They use very common things. They use their daughter's name, their pet's name, their mom's name, with a mix of birthdays. Things that are so easy for cyber criminals who are always listening and trying to connect dots on your life so that they can access whatever they need to access. And more often than not, they even access it and get out and you didn't even know they got into your house and left. So I've introduced you to LastPass. Before, use it or find a password manager. The word is password manager. Find one that you feel comfortable with. Talk to other people about it if you feel comfortable. If you don't fancy LastPass, find a password manager. Then create the most complicated passwords, like total random numbers, letters, asterisks. It's difficult for somebody to actually access your details because what you're using is so random. Even if they keep putting it in their algorithm, they can never actually get your password because it's random, so random, right? So just as you use a seatbelt when you're driving, take precautions before you use the internet. Be a good digital citizen. Personal information is like money. In my humble opinion, value it, protect it, lock your devices to stop prying eyes from accessing your data. A lot of people walk around with their phone, and they use those, what do they call them? On my phone, for instance, I have both a digit and a numbers. And then on another, I have a digit and then another part of my body. So, there's authentication after authentication. So if my phone were to be lost for some reason, they'd find it difficult to access it because they'd have to use a part of my body to access it, right? So unless they got a part of me to access my gadget. Do the same. It takes a second and you're in your phone. And then when you're not using it or you dropped it somewhere, they can't access your data because, well, it's locked. It's locked. And with iPhones, you can even lock it better. So to improve your cybersecurity, best practice, update your software regularly. A lot of people have old apps on their phones that they have not updated for years. Those become windows into your life because once an app is updated, it means there was something that was lacking in it that the developers have updated to keep up with the platform on which it's hosted. And so if you don't then update your app, then you are still carrying the challenge, the underbelly of that app. Use a strong and unique password, like LastPass. When you finally do use LastPass, if you ever use it, it gives you the most random, long passwords. And of course, it helps you remember them. And you don't have to remember them in your head because you use it to autofill your data, your resources. And so it's easy to protect your data. And how do you protect your LastPass from hackers? You clear your cache every day. Every day you clear your cache. The next day you open your gadget, it asks you to log on to LastPass. So you need to have your master password. That's the only password you ever have to remember. And you definitely have to make it complicated. And so because you clear your cache every day you have to log on to LastPass. So even if somebody got hold of your gadget, they wouldn't be able to log on to your assets just because you have LastPass, because your LastPass is disabled, and also add two-factor authentication on your LastPass logins. Educate yourself and your family or employees about cyber threats. We do training for companies, small to medium, on cybersecurity because the level of cybersecurity for companies is completely different. This is like your personal type of home security, and back up your data regularly. I cannot emphasize that enough. Now I'm going to say something that's almost like I back up my stuff on a cloud, but I back up my stuff on a physical drive. And I use an SSD drive, not the older ones. The older ones that are just, external drives, they are not as stable. SSD drives are more stable. Now, an SSD drive, you can go check on Amazon and just type in SSD drive, and you'll have different ones showing up for you. I use SanDisk. Let me just show you. It's quite small, my drive. So, and I'll show you the other one, and so you'll see how big they are. That's an SSD drive. It's a SanDisk. It's even smaller than a phone. There you go. That's a phone, and that's my SanDisk. So you see how small it is. It's very easy to fit in your pocket. You can't leave it anywhere if you want to leave it. If you're going away, you're traveling, you can just stick it in your handbag, and you're good to go. And so you have your data backed up as well. And of course, you then back it up to the cloud so that you can access it anywhere. Now, this is a standard external drive. You see how big it is? It's very chunky, very, very chunky. The standard external drive. That's how big the bag is. And let me just show you what it looks like. Why do I say back up your stuff both on the cloud and on a hard drive? That is what it looks like. So it's chunkier than an SSD drive. Because what would have happened to you recently when Microsoft crashed? When we woke up in the morning and Microsoft had crashed, what would have happened? You couldn't access your stuff because you had kept it on the Microsoft or on your computer. You couldn't do nothing because all my data is backed up 4 times, not just once, not just twice, not just to the cloud, but 4 times. And so back up your data regularly. It's very important because then you never have to cry tears of total loss when you can't access your data because it's gone. It's gone. And once it's gone, you would have to get a very smart person to even recover it because it's not gone, but you can't access it. It's gone down the digital black hole. That's what we call it. And it's difficult to dig into that digital black hole. So it might cost you a whole lot of money to get your data back up and running if you do not back it up. And backing up your data is also being a good digital citizen so that you don't have to pay somebody else to recover it. Social media, very simple. Be careful who you accept as a friend or follower. Allow them to follow you because, you literally can't stop people from following you. In fact, on most platforms, you can just follow somebody without befriending them. But when it comes to accepting them as a friend, now that's a personal choice. You can say, no, I don't know you. I'm not going to accept you. So they'll continue to be your follower, but they will not be. I have over 3,000 people who have asked to be my friend, but have not accepted them. The minute they ask, they are automatically following. Post and share your content with caution, because then we've talked about harmful behavior that you may not even consider harmful. Use the report button for inappropriate content, report it, delete it, and also block the perpetrators. So very, very, those are simple acts you can do, and you can teach your children too. Online gaming. I have a whole training on online gaming and cookies, and it's very interesting. But be careful with what you share with other users. If you're a gamer, if your children are online, and you've given them games, you bought for them a PlayStation, you bought for them whatever, all the gadgets that kids use to play online. Be the one who creates the account, and make sure you put on parental controls on that gadget, so that they cannot necessarily accept anybody and everybody, and they cannot also purchase stuff without your permission. My sister-in-law left her PS on. It's for her and the husband. Has a sweet little 8-year-old kid. I don't know why she left it on, and she went to do some cooking, and the boy went on, played some game, and then there was a pop-up on the screen. And she had linked her bank account to that station, to that specific game. He clicked yes. And he literally agreed to buy something for $3,000. When she got the notification on her phone, she was like, I've not bought anything. But by the time she realized what had happened, she had to go to the bank and explain what had happened to get her money back. So be careful. Even when you leave your games on and your kids are around, they are alone with your game. They might not know what they are doing. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't even know he had bought something. If people try to bully your children online or harass them, report them, block them. Because these online, most people create an online persona, but it's connected to a person directly. So it's not like Facebook where you can actually create a persona from nothing and no one can trace you. In the online gaming space, usually they can trace the person because they have to give their personal information behind their online persona. So you can report them. Phishing attacks occur when someone pretends to be a company or organization in order to get your personal information. We gave an example of an Aldi, click here to go get your free Aldi food, but it's a way more than that, and it's more insidious. In fact, it's the biggest scam online today for companies. And so one of the sessions I will hold will be on phishing, if that's okay with you, and because phishing is hard. Do not provide your details unless you're on an official website or app. I'll show an example. Do not click on any links as it could lead you to malicious websites. Again, I will show you examples if you choose to have a session on phishing as the next session for you, because that's how they are getting people's details today. And they are also using AI and phishing. So they are phishing using AI these days. And it's very difficult to know whether you are clicking the right thing or you're being taken down a rabbit hole. And so it's important to know what to do. If you're being bullied online, or your child or someone you care for is being bullied online, it's always good to speak to somebody, a responsible adult, obviously if it's a child. As an adult, many of us, we are adults, but we are going through some serious challenges, and that's affecting our mental health. So speaking to somebody could help you, because they might also support you in getting the perpetrator caught. Report it. You can, if you know the person, you can report them to the police. We've had a case here in Liverpool where people were being cyber bullied. They were being bullied in person, and then the bullying went online. And we told them, report them. You know the person, report them to the police. Because that's not just, they are threatening. They're not just bullying you, they're threatening you. And so report them. Take screenshots. Always important, because sometimes they bully you, then they delete what they said, and so you even have no proof, and then you start to look like you're going crazy, saying they've said things about you, say things they bullied you online, and you don't have any proof. Always take screenshots. Advise your children to take screenshots. Be kind online. Like I said, when I shared my good news, people were being a bit other people were downright rude. Oh my goodness, men were saying, oh, I prefer the curvy one. And I was like, who do you know me in person to know whether I was curvy or not? Or I'm not curvy today. Those were my thoughts, because I do not respond to cyber bullies. Or anyone who was mean on that post, I deleted their comment. Anyone who was not necessarily nice and I did not consider them bullying, I told them that's body shaming. Like if I say to you that just because I've become skinny, that does not mean you cannot say nasty things to me about my size. Calling somebody fat or too skinny, that's body shaming, because it might be their choice, or they might not have a choice about what they look like. So sending people hurtful messages, using social media, gaining messaging services like Messenger, Skype, WhatsApp, all those Teams, all those, even Zoom, report, it can be cyberbullying. So it's important to know what does it mean, and what does it mean for the person receiving the information. Privacy, regularly review your privacy settings, check what is visible to the public, even if you have a private account. And for instance, a lot of young people have private accounts on Instagram. And so in order for them to become your friend, you would have to ask them, and then they'd have to approve your request. More often than not, they don't want their parents to be their friends. But a lot of the very same young people are very public on Snapchat because they like to take those very vibrant AI-enhanced images, but they have not protected their data on that app. And so anybody who knows what they're doing can track them anywhere. And that's why you find that young people are stalked by cyber bullies, who then find them in the physical space, because they know where they're going 24/7, because they did not update their privacy settings on apps like Snapchat. And when they go sharing where they are, Like here we are on holiday, here we are out, here we are truly outside. And they can tell where they are even without them telling them the exact location, because they've given the location on the app because they've not updated their privacy settings. Very, very important to update privacy settings. Don't share live locations, especially when you're not at home. I gave you an example that I go on holiday and then I share my holiday images when I've come back. And people think I'm on holiday, but I came back already. Don't tag locations until way later. You know, when you're posting on Facebook and you're sharing that you're on the beach in Greece, in Santorini or whatever, don't tag that location until you come back to your home. Why? Again, you're telling criminals that are not only cyber criminals, they are real life criminals that you're not at home. And, you know, they could come and here's the sad thing. You may not be at home, but your babies are still out with somebody else who may not be necessarily that strong to protect them. And so telling people that how you're at home, you're on holiday, to be outside, and your babies are home, you're exposing them digitally and physically. So don't be sharing all that content. Again, to manage your location, do so in the settings. Every app has the location settings. I always turn mine off. Just like I never share my full birth date on any platform, and all these platforms demand that you share your birth date with them, because in order to recover your account, sometimes they demand that you show them your passport and you send your passport details to recover your account. When they asked for that information on my old account, I simply ignored it and created a new account and started a new Facebook account, because I had no intentions of giving them the real birth date. And never meet up with anyone you've met online unless you have done your due diligence. Now, I'm not saying for those of you that date online that you shouldn't meet your new future partner in person, but you must do your due diligence. You must do your research. You must have find out somebody who lives local to them and find out more about them. Do your due diligence. Way back in 2015, we went to Texas. And at that time, I didn't really have that much digital savviness in terms of cybersecurity. And I did tell people I was going to Texas. And a few people said, "Oh, I live in Texas. In that part of Texas, we're going to Tucson." And I said, "We're going to Tucson. Let's meet up if you're in this area." And somebody actually said they would pick us up from the airport. And we're like, "Oh, that's very kind." And they said, "Oh, the taxis over here, they might cost you a bit. We'll pick you from the airport. We'll take you to your hotel, blah, blah, blah." And we were like, "Okay, that's nice." Oh my goodness. We waited at the airport for 3 hours. And I don't even know why we were that even stupid to wait. But my husband was not stupid. I think he was like, "Oh, well, your friend said you would pick us up." But we got to a point where the airport security came to us and said, what are you doing here? And we said, we are waiting for our pickup. And they said, "What do you mean pickup? You know, it's good. Your flight got here when it was daytime. It's gone dark now. How long has it been now?" So isn't it almost 3 hours you need to clear out? And we're like, "Oh, we're still waiting for our pickup." And they said, "Take a cab. And if you don't have a cab, you're in trouble." And we took a cab. And this person kept updating us that they were getting to the airport. They were coming. "Please don't leave. We are coming." The next day, we sent them a message saying, we actually got to our hotel. We are fine. What happened? And their phone was off. We spent 10 days there. And in the 10 days we were there, their phone was off. And so we came back to the UK. And then they sent us a message. "Oh, I got a DUI. And I could not pick you up." And we said, "Oh, so you had drunk and you were going to pick us up at the airport." Our lives and your life. Anywho, you don't know people. Don't tell people. Don't meet people you don't know. Leave them as digital friends. Be careful with what you share online. Manage your account settings, location. Don't share live locations. Just don't. Speak to the police if a child is being bullied online. If you're experiencing cyberbullying as an adult and you know the perpetrator, report them to the police. Report, block, delete, and follow. You have that choice, and you don't need to experience that from anybody. You deserve better. Identify, isolate threats, communicate with security teams and stakeholders. Security teams could include police, could include your family members, could include your community, your workmates, your volunteers. Have a data recovery process and plan. I've even shown you physical tools you can get on Amazon to back up your data. Obviously, you can back up on Microsoft 365, the cloud. You can back up your iPhone or your iPad onto the Apple cloud, but always have the backup of your back, because if anything happens to that cloud, you don't even know that's it. You won't know what to do with your data. People lost data from Dropbox, as in they actually really lost data when there was a Dropbox breach. And evaluate and improve your security policies. You are the head of your family. When I started, my first question was, who do you think is responsible for your cyber security and your data security and online security? The answer is you. Whether you are the head of your family, or you are a co-partner, co-parenting, or you're just a single person, you are in charge of your own personal gadgets. And therefore, you are your security head. So evaluate, improve, update. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, next time we could go fishing, not the fish, but fishing, which is one of the biggest challenges online today in online safety and cyber safety phishing. Especially for you running organizations, or you are part of the leadership team of an organization, you really need to understand what phishing could do for you. But every single person, human being, is being fished right now by somebody. They are trying to hook you. They may not hook you, but they are trying to hook you. You're the fish. So don't be fished. We could talk about that. Or we could talk about something else that you prefer to talk about. Anything else? If nothing else, please share your genuine feedback so that I can improve on how and what I deliver, what you knew before versus what you've learned today, what skills you've learned that you can use in future. If possible, go to wodin.org.uk/reviews and let me know what you think I can improve on, or just share your reviews. Let the world know that there's a great training from us over here in Liverpool. And if there is nothing else, I'm happy to say this session is over. It's been a long one, but we've kept within our time.